Scorpio Gold has actually been around for quite a few years. A couple of you guys might have heard of it. Scorpio's been actually a producer since about 2009. I came in as management with our CEO, Zane, about 2 years ago, and we've gone back to roots exploration on our projects. These images I always like to start with in our title slides really show the project well. We have, in this image, there's actually multiple pits in a row here. You can see the main structure in the pit here. This is a very historic district, and to the history, these pits were actually started by Howard Hughes back in the 60s, mining till the 90s. But you take this drone and you spin it around, and this is our permitted underground mine on the same structure. So these assets were always under, multiple companies producing separate parts of what is now the same resource. So today we're drilling this, putting it together as one package in Nevada. So working in Nevada, we're just on the northern edge of the Walker Lane. We are currently drilling a 50,000 meter program. We're 26,000 meters into that program. To drill that program, we sold one of our other assets as of September last year. We sold that for $7.5 million US, and then we did a strategic raise with Eric Sprott and Ross Beatty as well. Ross he's been investing in just a few companies here. Scotty, as you guys have just saw with Brad there, he's placed with them, and he's placed with us recently as well. So we're quite excited to be working with them. We put out a maiden resource estimate recently about September last year, 740,000 ounces at 1.2 grams per ton. And our goal is to expand that to 2 million ounces as the target by the end of the year. So I'll walk everybody through here how we're going to do that as well. So those goals by that end of the year, we're well into more than halfway through that drill program for 50,000 meters. These are a few of our targets I'm mentioning here in the slide. Keystone Jumbo, Black Mammoth, we're drilling currently. And we're going to be doing modern met testing actually with this as well. Having past production in this area, as you saw with the pits, we have 7 historic met tests that suggest getting to 92% recovery. It was heap leached at 77% recovery, so we're going to be doing that modern test work to confirm that as well with this historic studies. This here really shows how we're going to be, is our main comparable here to other assets in the area. Nevada having a lot of these large mines, these large, it's a very historic district for mining. The current average grade in Nevada is actually 0.6 grams per ton for open pits. So our current resource sitting at 1.2 grams is more than double the average grade. Our story, because it was separate ownership, is the only reason it hasn't happened yet. And now we have it under one company. So, that puts, as we put the story together, we've got, over 90% recovery in a mill, 77% recovery in a heap leach. So when you look at grade versus recovery, we plot in our own category here, as you can see. So this really, says the story well, because this can be a very high margin mine, especially in Nevada. And already having, we have a mill that's 400 tons a day. It's much too small, and on top of the pit design that we have, that gives us, we already have water rights on the project. We already have a lot of the permits that you would usually need that would slow down a project. So having the grade and the recoveries, we're going to be doing that more modern test work to confirm this. But that we just need to be adding ounces at this point to the project. And, this is how do we get to that 2 million ounce mark from, 740,000 ounces? That's more than doubling the resource, of course. We've actually got here, this is a very historic district, and I hope you guys can see it, but all of these black dots here on the map are actually historic mine shafts and adits. We have more than 350 of these historic shafts within our project. I've personally mapped around this area. You're quite literally almost tripping over these shafts here. So our maiden resource is within the yellow area here. it is connecting those pits you guys saw in the first image to the underground mine. Is to the north where you see it says Black Mammoth, is where that underground mine we have, that permitted underground is. So once we start to step out, we've amalgamated this very historic district. You've got Hooligan is in the northwest there, Keystone Jumbo to the southeast. These are historic resources that total pre-43-101 resources totaling about 300,000 ounces together that we've amalgamated. So you add those to our, we've digitized all this data as of about a month ago. We're going to be doing some follow-up drilling, we're hoping this year as well. You total those ounces along with doing conversion drilling from our maiden resource gets you another 400,000 ounces. So adding that 400,000 ounces and the 300,000 ounces here gets us to about 1.5 million ounces. So we're looking to discover another 500,000 ounces to get to that 2 million ounce mark. And especially at that grade at 1.2 grams in Nevada, makes it an appetizing resource. Geologically, we sit just south of Round Mountain. So you can see Round Mountain is black here within that orange area. Round Mountain is Kinross's 15 million ounce pit just to the north of us here. It's a caldera system within volcanic rocks, a collapsed caldera that created this perfect fracture system for the gold to come in. And us just being south of it, we're in the basement rocks to Round Mountain, but within the same mountain range, same more or less same vein system, but just a few million years younger there. So Round Mountain was actually started by shipping ore to the mill that was on our property. Yeah, this is the 3D here of a lot of our targets that we have here, just to really show those blue areas is where we've been mainly drilling currently, expanding from that main resource. We're going to be stepping out, looking at Keystone, Hooligan up in the northwest there. But we have 8.5 kilometers of the district. You can see we have just a few gaps in those claims, but we have within our claims, we have all of the showings in past production are all within our package here. This is some of our recent drill results. We've got great grade here for Nevada. This is everything we've drilled from 2022 onwards here. We've been currently drilling, I can draw on here, I believe. We've got our Zanzibar trend, if you guys have been following some of our news, is actually a splay vein that goes this direction here. So this as a vein is one of these areas we're looking to add a few 100,000 ounces. It's a historic mine that was producing in the 1910s, and there's dotted shafts that go along one of these historic claim boundaries between separate owners that go where the drilling is, all along these areas, if you can see my drawing, over here. So we've been following up just some of this past production as our targeting for drilling. It's as a geologist, it doesn't need a lot of geology to plan some of these drill holes, which, because it was such a historic district. 4,000 people moved into the town in the 1910s to do this mining. Just to show everybody here as well, I've got these are some great photos we took with Verify of the project. It shows really well when you're there in person. I'm going to be going to Black Mammoth right here to show everybody what the view looks like when you look at some of our drill targets. So this right here, this image, I'm going to spin it around after this, is one of our drill targets. We put out 1 gram over 40 meters was one of our best hits in this area. But these buildings you can see on this hill are over 100 years old. So this is a historic mill for the Black Mammoth mine. And as you go up the hill, I hope you guys can see this. I'll circle it. But you've got all of these waste dumps that are historic. There's a mine shaft here, and going up this hill, all the way up. You've got multiple adits into the main structure here, which is north of our current resource. So we drilled this 250-meter step out. This mine, you can tell multiple shafts. They wouldn't have been wasting their money to drive those 100 years ago. You spin the camera around now, and you can see the rest of our resources just right here. So, that's one of the areas. It wasn't drilled being separate ownership between multiple companies. Our permitted underground mine, you can see the mill right there, and this is outcropping pits here that you can see right at surface that are, the surface showings of historic pits from 100 years ago as well. But the main structure you can see is it continues along strike here between these multiple pits here. These were the ones started by Howard Hughes, mined by Echo Bay, back in the 90s as well. So this is really, as the story goes, we're just connecting multiple of these past producing targets here. So here's a long section of the resource. Our underground mine is Goldwedge here. That's one of our best holes we have as intercepts on the project. That 70 meters over 12 grams per ton is the discovery hole that was made on the project actually by Freeport. They had a joint venture on the Goldwedge side of this resource back in the 80s. We've been connecting as Goldwedge, and the pits here were under multiple companies. You can actually see where that claim boundary was, where nobody could drill, as you would be drilling the neighbor's ground, is our gap zone there. So when we started, I came in 2024. We drilled that 55 meters over 1.7 grams per ton within that gap zone. We have another, which isn't on here, 92 meters at 1.2 grams per ton within that same area. So, we've been just connecting these past producing profiles. And, as a geologist, I want to actually point to a bit of the scale here. This resource currently only goes to a 200-meter depth. Currently, we haven't tested this system at depth yet. We're at the top of a typical epithermal system here. And, we're currently just bringing it down to the rest of the resource to that 200-meter depth. And, that deeper target hasn't been tested yet as we're going for those shallow ounces. So I spoke a bit earlier about our metallurgy. We have 7 historic tests in our current MRE that came out last year. This is actually a thin section that was done from the bottom of one of our pits within the fresh rock horizon here, in what you'd say is the sulfide horizon. But as you can see in the fresh minerals here, your pyrite and gold are not amalgamated together in any way. The pyrite's actually part of a different mineralization phase that doesn't carry gold. Which really feeds towards it's a free milling system. So having all of these previous tests, our most recent was 2012, was a bulk sample from the underground mine. We're looking at doing one fully encompassing test to look at heap leaching, to look at every type of processing you'd be doing. But all of these historic tests that go back to the 80s here suggest 92% recovery within a mill circuit, and this was heap leached about 77% recovery historically. A little bit about our team here. We're a young, motivated team. I've personally worked with B2 Gold for about 10 years. I managed all of their not all, some of their regional assets around the world. I worked in 7 countries. Zane and myself took over the company about two years ago, or 2024. He's worked on multiple deals within mining. Leo Hathaway just joined our board, roughly a year ago, who's been absolutely a great mentor to myself as well. He's been quite excited about what we're drilling here and very directly involved. He's worked with Ross Beatty for years before joining us, and I've been, it's a great team that we've put together here to put this program together. Yeah, thank you, everybody. It's an awesome project where we've got the permitted mine. Just to quickly speak a bit too, we have water rights. We're technically permitted as an underground, but building this big resource, these permits will be able to be used later down the line. You're amending permits, not having new ones to build, but we're adding ounces to the program, and we're well into the drill program. We're putting news out every week, so follow us for more of these drill results as we put them out. Thank you.